Give your air plant a spritz, put the cloudberry jam on the back burner, and discharge the static electricity from your cat, because it's time to talk Tull to me.
How dare you?
Oh, you wanted to do that
That's
bit?
right. Because it's time to talk Tull to me. There, I'll just edit it. I always do that bit, Omen.
Squee!
I was going to
my God.
request that you do something about a cat, but you took care of it yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Well, you're welcome. I'm Omen Sade.
And I'm Nick McGill.
Together, we are Feckless Momes.
And we are your hosts for this adventure through the chronological timeline of Jethro Tull.
That's right. All the way from their inception in 1968 through present day. As long as that lasts, Nick and I will slog track by track, album by album, chronologically through every song that Jethro Tull ever recorded. Let's roll through some of the temporary replacements. And you know, really I feel like any member of the band is important, but the lead guitarist for a rock band brings so much of the personality to it. And so they went through a couple of people before arriving at the guitarist who would then be with them until the very end.
Yeah. And it's, there is something to note though, that like it is, I would say kind of remarkable that like this could have been the death knell for Tull.
Yeah, it could have been. Easily.
They had to find that guitarist, and they went through 3 others before they got to their final choice. But they started out with a dude named David O'List.
Yeah.
And he had just recently left his band called Nice. And after a week of rehearsal, he just disappeared off the surface of the earth.
Never to be heard from again.
He invented ghosting.
Do you think that Ian Anderson murdered him?
I think no.
You don't mean that he disappeared forever from everyone. He just disappeared from the members of Jethro Tull.
No, he legit, like, he stopped calling, he stopped showing up. They don't know what happened to him.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't get hit by a bus or something. He just didn't want to be in Jethro Tull.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Unless he got kidnapped and they still haven't given the ransom.
He fled to Argentina and has been living there happily ever since.
That's true.
Playing the guitar in the streets of Buenos Aires.
He ruled Cuba for a couple of years, actually.
He did. I mean, you know.
David O'List, with the name David O'List.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's next?
Mick Taylor, and he was with the band for a short amount of time, and he then got a better gig with a band called the Blues Breakers. This seems to be a common theme. Can you imagine? I mean, I just imagine like Ian Anderson sitting in his flat at night, being like, "The blues, the damn blues."
No, I thought you were gonna comment that there's a theme that people leave Tull to be in a band that they think is going to be a better gig.
Oh, right.
And we're not talking about Blues Breakers. We're barely talking about Bloodwind Pig. We're still talking about Tull.
Yeah.
So these people just have really bad judgment, I guess.
Although, well, now we move on to the third case, which complicates matters slightly.
That's true.
That breaks that theory to a certain extent.
Right. Some people may recognize this name off the bat. I did. I'm assuming you won't. So they put an advertisement in, I guess, a music magazine called Melody Maker.
Yeah, this is pre-internet.
And magazines are these paper things. They're not quite books, and you can't read them digitally. And a guy named Tony Iommi answered. And he made a good run. It seems like they made an effort, or Tony made the effort.
Yeah, and I think they were together for enough time that they had an effect.
Yeah, so it seems. So they had a few rehearsals with him. They appeared on the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus, which I'm guessing was like a television show or something like that.
Must have been, yeah.
And they performed a song for Jeffrey, which
Right.
we thoroughly enjoyed from the first album.
Yes, we did.
But only Anderson was singing and playing the flute live. Everybody else was dubbed over. They were tracks.
That's
they were
so
miming
funny.
it. Yeah. After that, Iommi felt closer to his old band called Earth, so he went back to them. He said, "I think I should go back to these guys," and he attributes the time working with Tull, probably a couple of months worth,
right,
as instilling a strong background, a strong work ethic,
right,
for them.
And Earth went on to become, Nick,
Black Sabbath.
Holy gamoles.
Black Sabbath.
In a way, we have Ian Anderson to thank not only for Jethro Tull, but also for Black Sabbath? Thank you.
Thank you, Ian Anderson.
Thank you, Ian Anderson.
For Ozzy Osbourne.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's given us so much.
He is selflessly given to the community.
He's selflessly demanded that everything be done exactly his way for the community.
So what happens after Iommi leaves?
Well, as they say, fourth time's a charm. Fifth, I guess.
Very, very common.
And at the same audition that Iommi was in, the runner-up was a nice gentleman by the name of Martin Barre.
Bum, bum, ba-da.
He had a second audition with Ian Anderson. They hit it off. They messed around on the guitar, and Anderson offered Barre the job. And he has stuck with the band literally ever since. Besides Ian Anderson, Martin Barre is the longest serving member of Jethro Tull. He's on every album, every live performance. I mean, he is, one could argue, and we will, this will be, now that Mr. Martin Barre is with us, we can discuss this for the whole rest of the journey. But, he arguably has almost as important a role on the evolution of Jethro Tull as Ian Anderson does.
Yeah. It's easy to give Ian Anderson a lot of, if not all of the credit, just because he is that face, that front man. But
yes,
there's no way that, at least in those early years, it was just the Ian Anderson show.
Well, no. I mean, Ian Anderson, being a front man, he channels the talent of everyone else through him.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, ends up getting a lot of the credit for it, which is, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's how the cookie crumbles. It's how the bee bumbles. It's how the bed sheets crumple.
Any more?
I thought I had one.
It's how the old man stumbles.
Oh, that's good. But in fact, obviously Ian Anderson is like the nuclear warhead sitting on thousands of tons of rocket fuel, which is the talent. This metaphor, I'm like losing grip of this metaphor. I've got my nails digging into the side of this metaphor.
I kind of get it.
Ian Anderson is being propelled by several thousand tons of rocket fuel, which is the talent of the other band members who are delivering the warhead that is Ian Anderson to destroy the cities of our hearts and minds, but in a good way.
He's the payload, but he couldn't get there.
Whew.
Do you need a break?
That's right.
Do you want to?
I don't know. I think I need to swear off metaphors for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, let's just take a moment.
Have a simile hangover tomorrow.
And this week, we are on song number 2 off of side B, or song number 7, from their second album, Stand Up, known as Fat man.
Woo!
Don't want to be a fat man. Ding-a-ding-a-ding. Okay.
Literally every time that I listen to that song, I feel as though I have just had an espresso. It is so energizing and delightful and demitas-sized as well.
Ironically.
I know it's not the shortest track on this album, but it is the second shortest track, which is amusing. No, I love this song, Nick.
It's silly and it's bright and there's no arc. It's one pace, one burst of energy all the way through. There's a little break for an awesome little bongo solo.
So cool.
And then it just pushes through that. And it is just fun. It's just goofy fun.
And it has those, I love those upbeat kind of mandolin bursts. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's where it's like between the verses, dum da da dum down, down. You know what I mean? It's sort of a syncopated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just the kind of a little accent.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Oh my gosh, can we talk about the mandolin?
This is noted as one of the first real strong presences of mandolin in rock music at the time.
This is a piece of history right here. I mean, this track, as ridiculous as it is a piece of history.
It's awesome.
It's definitely the first Jethro Tull track that has mandolin on it at all, as far as I know.
I'm trying to think. We might have heard it like in the background in one of the earlier ones, but I'm not sure.
Right, maybe, but at least pulled this far forward, this is definitely the first.
Yeah, this is the voice of the song.
It's and it's so delightful. Also, Clive Bunker is going to another realm of existence with the drumming. There's no drum kit on this song. It took me a second to realize that.
Yeah. He's just going bananas.
It's all hand drumming.
Yep, bananas on the bongos.
Which I think is a testament to his skill, really. Because I think that's quite a different... I'm by no stretch of the imagination a drummer because I have no rhythm. But I think that it's quite a different technique and skill to play a hand drum than it is to play with the sticks of drumming. Les baguettes.
Sticks of drumming.
Yes.
I wonder if he's also doing the jingle bells in there. Like maybe if it's on a foot pedal or something.
Oh, the tamb?
Is it a tamb? I think it's just straight up jingle bells.
I'm pretty sure it's a tambourine.
Is it? I have my doubts. I'll have to listen to it again.
We will have to build a time machine and go back and see.
That's the only way that we can figure it out.
That's right. It could be on a foot pedal. Yeah, I wonder if he's doing it all live. Or alternate theory. Here, you ready for this?
I would love to be ready for this.
I don't think that that's possible. I'm sorry. Do you know who doesn't play on this track?
Glenn Cornick? Bass.
Correct.
Yeah. There's no bass going on in there.
Glenn Cornick, bassist, is not on this. I wonder if he might be jamming out on that tambourine.
It's possible. Do we have any direct credits for this one?
It says that he's not listed on this track. But that could be that he's not listed as a bassist.
Sure.
Or it could mean that he went for a waz and they recorded it while he was gone.
Instantly. And maybe he's the fat man. Maybe it's just a big inside joke.
Maybe. It could be. They recorded Fat Man on the 21st of April, 1969, the same day as Back to the Family. And they released Fat Man with Bourée as a single in Europe in September of 1969.
I'm guessing Fat Man was the B-side?
I would imagine, yeah. Yeah, it would have been one of those small records, right, where it's like one track per side.
Yeah, I think they were 3 inches at that point, the little ones. Yep, I know.
That's all you need.
Even Martin's guitar, which takes the back burner on this, is really good. It's really solid. It's just steady, and I think it ultimately takes the place of the bass because it doesn't kind of overpower anything, and it adds something of a through line.
Right.
But it's really good.
I was struggling to hear the guitar. I almost felt like there were maybe multiple mandolins jamming out.
I don't know. I think the guitar is most noticeable right in the early beginning. And if you can pick it up, you can maybe carry that through in your ear.
Right.
But
I think you're right.
Very quickly, it gets overpowered and you lose it much more than just beyond rhythm. And let's not forget that awesome squeaker horn solo.
The what?
Funk, 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 funk.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what that was. I thought that was like a violin.
No, it's like a bicycle horn.
That is so silly.
It's the little horn with the black thing, the black squeezy bit that they have seals hit with their nose. Yeah, it's one of those.
Oh, one of those. Yes. Oh, now I know
one
what you're talking
those.
About. Now that you put it,
seal horn.
Now that you put it in marine mammal context, now I know what you mean. Yeah, sure.
And there's a little flute. There's a little flute in there at the end.
How little is it?
It's not a piccolo.
Okay. Did you hear the one about the orchestra musician who came into the doctor? And the doctor was like, well, what can I do for you? And he was like, Doctor, I've had a terrible accident. I was playing in the orchestra and I inhaled too quickly between measures and I swallowed my piccolo. What can I do? And the doctor says, well, just be thankful you don't play the grand piano.
You couldn't even let the beat sink in. You the shame on your face.
It's so because then that's a bigger instrument, you see.
Oh.
Grand piano. Oh. Yeah, good times. It's not a good joke.
Fact.
Do you want me to give it to you again? Maybe it'll be funnier this time.
No, I'm pretty confident it won't be.
Okay, how about this one? What's the difference between a violin and a viola?
I don't know.
A viola burns longer.
Do you not like them? There's the instruments?
What, the viola?
Are you supposed to? It implies that you do not like the viola.
No, well, generally people don't like the viola, I believe.
Why?
Because it's weird.
I think that's instrumentist.
Yes. Speaking of being let's talk about the content of this song that I think we've skirted around, we've circumnavigated a little bit.
Oh no. It would take us too long.
It's been fun chewing the fat with you about the instrument jokes, but I think that we should talk about these lyrics. Nick, what is going on here? What is the hidden meaning of this statement that Ian Anderson is making?
Are you setting me up? Is there a hidden meaning? Have I not read deeply enough to find a hidden meaning here?
I think that there is no hidden meaning. I think that this is one of the most face value pieces of songwriting that I've probably ever heard. I think that Ian Anderson doesn't want to be a fat man. And it's interesting, I think that it's really interesting, like, talking about this song in today's context, because clearly you couldn't really get away with releasing a song like this in 2019.
Right?
It would be in pretty poor taste, right?
I'm trying to think of the closest, most recent simile to this.
The only thing that comes to my mind is, do you know the artist Mika?
Yeah, I do know Mika.
He's like super fun. I think he grew up in France, but he's like a super fun pop artist. I don't know what he's released recently, but 10 years back or so, which is, I guess, not that recently, he released a song called Big Girls, You Are Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Diet Coke and a pizza, please. Diet Coke, I'm on my knees screaming, big girls, you are beautiful.
And it's... Oh.
Did you just wake up your phone to play that?
My iPad just tried to play that. So the only reason that comes to mind is because it's about bigger... The song is about bigger people, but it's totally from a celebratory beauty standpoint, like everyone is beautiful, and it's very very uplifting.
Yeah.
This song is not that.
Big Girl, You Are Beautiful is, to me, our generation's equivalent of Fat Bottom Girls.
Absolutely.
That's what it is, yeah. This, yeah, I can't... And that was... We were in college when Mika came out. But yeah, I can't... I mean, I'm not really abreast on modern popular music, so I can't really speak to it very well, but I just can't see anything like this.
I think that the only reason that Ian Anderson can possibly get away with this is the fact that it's 1969.
Mm-hmm.
It's England, which has a different relationship to this kind of personal insult, if you will, than we do in the States. And because the song is just so charming.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. It sounds like a joke.
Exactly, and I think it is. I think it's not malicious at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I feel like it's quite tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost feels like he's making fun of somebody maybe that he knows.
Oh, possibly. Yeah.
Or I almost wonder if he's being self-referential. You know, I wonder, is it possible that at this point in his life, maybe he was starting to gain a little weight and he was talking about himself and like desiring to stay trim?
Possibly, I suppose. Yeah, it's him right on that cusp and seeing what he was and what he could be on both sides of the line, essentially.
Right. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe that's maybe this is another instance of Omen projecting his experience onto the music of Jethro Tull.
You know, I think I have the closest comparison.
Okay.
And it's those R. Kelly songs where he basically says, "Yes, I'm doing things with a 14-year-old girl."
Oh God.
Yeah. Gross.
I don't think that is similar.
I mean, it's the closest in terms of just really questionable content.
I feel like that's so much worse, though, in any time period.
Oh, no, it's worse.
Good grief.
I'm certainly not saying because Fat Man is okay in 1969, I'm a pedophile in 2019 is okay.
Yikes. Yeah, no, I know. I think I see the comparison that you're making. Woof.
It's the song that you hear and you're like, is this real? Is someone, not only did they make this, but it was produced and released?
Right.
But also, if you listen to them back to back, R. Kelly is clearly the grosser, more despicable human being.
Oh, good grief. Not even the same.
No.
Not even the same realm, thank goodness.
No.
This song is a real chestnut. It's hard to talk about.
It is. I mean, it's because it's so short. There's nothing really in depth to analyze in terms of the lyrics.
Right.
And we already talked about how amazing the instrumentation is.
I know.
You know? See, the one thing I want to bring up about the lyrics.
Yes.
The last little stanza.
I was just looking at that.
Yeah. I've seen the other side of being thin, roll us both down a mountain, and I'm sure the fat man would win. That feels even more of a jab to me. That doesn't feel like, oh, well, here's one positive thing. It feels like it's really cutting.
It's a bit harsh. Yeah, it's a bit harsh. I was going to try to play at least he's saying something nice, but I don't think we can quite justify that.
Yeah, and I think that was the attempt, kind of. I think it's plausible deniability is what it is.
I think it honestly is a joke, and I think that at this time, this kind of joke was accepted socially.
Oh, sure.
Especially in England. It's funny. I was just talking the other day. This is a bit of a segue or a bit of a departure, but I think it's interesting because this is something that's been on my mind recently. I just had a rehearsal yesterday for a touring show that I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks, and the script was written by a Scottish fellow, and one of the characters in the script is a nobleman. And the way this was written in the last 10 years, last 5 years probably. And the script refers to this person in this scene as the fat nobleman. And it's Robin Hood. So this is the person that Robin Hood is robbing. So you don't want, you're not supposed to like this person.
Sure.
And they're written to be despicable in terms of their actions, but like it's a lot. Like it's literally like the fat nobleman was wearing a cap on his fat head, and like Robin took the fat purse off the fat nobleman's belt, and it's just like it's so much, and it's like.
And this is a kids show, I take it?
Yeah, it's a theater for young audiences show that was meant to tour in the United States. And when we first started working on it, we were like, we have to cut out some of this language because it doesn't play well in America, but maybe I think it might be okay. Like, I think that there might be a cultural difference between England and the United States where talking about that kind of thing in England might be more socially acceptable on some level than it is here. I don't know.
Right, but how socially acceptable is it if the villain is still being referenced as fat?
Right.
Yes, you can still use it as a pejorative.
I think in that context, it's really, I think part of it is that it's a metaphor for wealth.
Sure. He's well fed.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
And he's like eating a duck leg. Yeah, it's interesting.
When you stop to think about it, in 1969, making fat jokes is really nothing compared to the crap that was going on in terms of using people as butts of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
And diminishing them for any number of things.
Absolutely. I mean, this was like the height of the civil rights movement in America.
Yeah.
So a charming mandolin song about an overweight English person, I think, was not going to be super on people's social justice radars.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting kind of watermark to see how far we've come that you and I can't even comfortably have a discussion about the lyrics of this song today.
Yeah.
And I think that's a positive change.
I agree. I think we are both on the more sensitive side too, in terms of acknowledging and recognizing this as problematic,
Oh, yeah. I thought for a minute you'd been talking to my therapist.
No, I am your therapist.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to pay you this month, didn't I?
I was waiting for that check.
Rollers go down a mountain and I'm sure the fat man would win.
Omen.
Nick.
If this song were a healthy food,
dear God,
what would it be?
Whew. It would be a well-structured. Oh, what's that grain?
Millet.
No, the other one.
Quinoa?
No. Oh, it would be a well-structured spelt crust vegan lemon explosion.
Define well-structured.
I mean, there would be something crunchy in it.
Wouldn't, by virtue of having a spelt crust, make it be crunchy?
Yeah, it would have, but there would be additional crunch in there somewhere. It would be additionally crunchy. It would be surprisingly crunchy, crispy.
Tell me what's in it.
Lemon, definitely.
Like a lemon curd?
Like a lemon curd, but made with some kind of a coconut cream milk substitute.
Okay, because lemon curd's got a butt ton of sugar, I think.
Don't say "but" in this context, Nick. I think that's inappropriate.
Lemon curd has a barrel full of sugar in it, I believe.
Well, it's only so healthy, but it's delicious, and it's zingy. My point is that it's zingy and crunchy, like this song.
Okay, that I can approve. Sure.
I forgot to mention they're mini tarts.
Okay, with a little meringue on top, maybe.
Ooh,
yeah,
Daddy. I'll be your mini tart.
Speak British Bake Off to me.
Oh my God. Yes. I think that does it.
So, Omen.
Nick.
Next week, we have track number 8 for our MP3 listeners, for our digital listeners.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's the third of my 4 favorites on this album.
That's half the album, but that's cool.
I mean, it's a third. Close. It is We Used to Know.
That's right.
We Used to Know.
We Used to Know. I'm not surprised to hear that's one of your favorites.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful song.
Well, we will discuss the merits of it next week.
Until then, while you wait for We Used to Know, be a helpful man and rate us, review us, subscribe, tell your friends, give us 5 stars, etc.
And if they don't, push them down a mountain and see which one wins.
See who wins? That's right. There you go. And hopefully they land on their phones to give us 5 stars. Until then, I'm Nick McGill.
I'm Omen Sade.
We are Feckless Momes.
And this is Talk Tull to Me. Talk Tull to Me is a proud member of the Feckless Momes audio network.